It's a tough day to report the news as I have to bring you the story of a rogue wave overcoming a cruise ship and killing one passenger and injuring a handful of others. Plus, Royal Caribbean loses a lifeboat off one of their ships while it's in motion. I've got the video for you. And a baby was born on a cruise ship. Some pretty cool news there. And Carnival Celebration is making a stop that you can make on it with me. Let's roll the intro. Hey, and welcome to the Midships channel. I'm your Captain Corey. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. At this point, you might realize I'm playing around with a couple different camera angles. We've got some cruise news to get started with, and I'm going to start with a serious story. Get this out of the way so we can get back to our more light-hearted reporting. An expedition-style cruise ship named the Viking Polaris was sailing down in Antarctica on Tuesday when the unexpected happened and a rogue wave struck the vessel, and it looks like it struck fairly high up. Take a look at these pictures. These are broken windows. It appears to be maybe 20 to 30 feet worth of damage down the side of the Viking Polaris, and from the information I've been able to gather, it appears like the damage is mostly done to deck 2 in the cabin windows. This is on the port side of the ship, so the left side as you're facing forward. That would put the damage occurring somewhere between cabin 2000 and 2036. And you can see there are several cabins that were affected. A 62-year-old American passenger is reported to have passed away from injuries when she was struck by broken glass during the chaos that ensued from the rogue wave strike. You can see the Viking Polaris did take her share of damage as well in the incident, but according to Viking Cruise Line, that damage is only minimum. In addition to the passenger who passed away, 4 passengers had to be treated in the ship's onboard medical center for injuries, but those are fortunately non-life threatening. Now we need to talk a little bit about rogue waves. These are obviously a giant wall of water. It's unexpected, kind of comes out of nowhere. However, they are more likely to form when there are storms in the area, but that's not always the case. Now, rogue waves have been on record almost as tall as a 4-story building. They've been reported to be as tall as 58 to 60 feet high. Now, while there were storms in the area at the time of the incident, guests on board the Viking Polaris did state that they felt like it was safe and acceptable to be sailing in the area at the time of the incident. As a result of the damage sustained to the Viking Polaris, the next cruise will of course be canceled while the ship undergoes repairs. As of this reporting, December 17th is the next slated embarkation for the Viking Polaris, and fingers crossed that she's able to make that journey. The Carnival Celebration has achieved yet another first as she makes her maiden call into Carnival's private destination in Honduras, Mahogany Bay. Just take a look here at the images coming out from Mahogany Bay. Now remember, I'm hosting a group cruise on this very ship, the Carnival Celebration, and Mahogany Bay is one of those places that we're going to go to. So if you want your chance to be standing on this sandy beach in front of this beautiful ship recreating this very picture, well, you got to check out the Facebook group I've got set up for my group cruise. Check it out. There's a link in the description below my video. It's the second link down. Royal Caribbean's Jewel of the Seas had an interesting cruise this week as they left with a certain number of passengers, and halfway through the cruise, they had that many plus 1 on board. Now, this is the result of an expectant mother going into labor way earlier than expected at least. The mother and the child are doing fine. She gave birth on board Jewel of the Seas down in the ship's medical facility. Cruise Hive is reporting that the baby was delivered by the resident physician on board the ship named Dr. Patilla, and he was on a virtual call the entire time. And that's not the only doctor that was looking out for mom and baby, as Royal Caribbean's senior neonatal specialist was on a virtual call the entire time supervising the pregnancy. Jewel of the Seas continued on to her next port of call in Ocho Rios, Jamaica, where mom and newborn were transferred to the local hospital in good health. Now, I was scrolling through social media this morning like I often do when I first wake up, when I came across a story about a cruise ship being delayed coming back to Port Canaveral. It caught my eye because, well, I live near Port Canaveral, and the cruise ship was the first ship I ever cruised on, the Carnival Liberty. Now, the Liberty, well, unfortunately, she got into port really late today, and this is because high winds in Bimini prevented the Liberty from being able to safely push off and head back to Port Canaveral. As a result, the ship got home several hours late today, and the next cruise, December 2nd, the embarkation was delayed by 6 or 8 hours as well. A video has emerged showing a lifeboat plummeting from the side of one of Royal Caribbean's newest cruise ships. I'm going to show it to you as soon as I remind you that if you're a cruise lover like myself, you got to check out my Amazon influencer store. In there, you can find everything I take with me every time I cruise. It's all been tested personally by myself. You don't pay a dime more, but you know you're getting the best darn product you can. Check it out. There's a link in the description below. Doesn't cost you a thing. Right, now back to the cruise news. Take a look at this video. It's shocking, coming out from Royal Caribbean's Quantum of the Seas.
Gone now. Got that on video, I think. Wow.
That's a lifeboat falling into the water, not being lowered, falling. Now, this all occurred on Thursday. At the time, a crew training drill was in progress, but yeah, that's not supposed to happen during a crew training situation. It's not yet clear exactly what happened on board Quantum of the Seas to cause this lifeboat to just fall uncontrollably. The lifeboat did sustain a fair amount of damage to the underside, as is being reported from cruisehive.com. Now, on its way down, the lifeboat actually struck the deck of the Quantum of the Seas, so it's unclear exactly how much damage occurred. The crew was able to raise the lifeboat. Quantum went along on her way without delay, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out for what went down aboard Quantum of the Seas. If any of you out there are booked on board that ship, why don't you take your camera and take a walk down the promenade deck and just see if you can find this damage coming from the lifeboat on Quantum of the Seas. So if you made it this far into today's episode, well, you are one amazing person. I'd like to invite you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. While you're down there, make sure you hit that thumbs up. It goes a long way for the algorithm. And hey, why don't you write me like something nice in the comments today? I've been getting some mean comments lately. It'd be cool to have something nice. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel today. And until tomorrow, we'll see ya on the Midships. Whew, it's only 8 days until my next cruise on the MSC Seascape. I'll probably call it the Seashore at least once in some of the vlogs coming out, doing a whole lot of organizational things. My goal going into 2023 is to focus 100% of my time on this channel, this endeavor, delivering you accurate, timely cruise news and some fun vlogs, travel information, and tips as it relates to cruising. And my ability to do that is 100% because of you checking in here, joining me on the Midships every single time I drop a video. It's gonna get better and better, and I promise you, the best is yet to come. We'll see you tomorrow.
la 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 la